Hello VIP members, how are you guys? I'm super excited for this tutorial. So we are going to be designing two of arrangements that are going to sit on either side of my front door. So we are going to be coordinating them to kind of match what the wreath that the swag that I made for my door, as well as my lantern swag. So if you tune in this week on Sunday on the regular YouTube channel, I will be showing the swag that I designed for my front door. And for you guys, we're going to work on these pieces that are going to go on either side of the door. So let's go ahead and get started. Now these I bought these wholesale a couple years ago. I've used them before and I just changed out kind of the theme, or I just kind of changed out the decor. So I pulled all the pieces out that I had. So these have been reused a few times, but you can find things like these. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Michael's has some. I've seen some, maybe not the Lollipops or the Peppermints, but they have like the signs that say Santa, or may have like the mailbox on them. Just anything that's kind of elongated like this would work to sit on either side of your door. So but you can use kind of the same recipe for whatever you find in the store. So all I've done is I added some gaps and cracks, just that spray foam. I added that to the top so that we can have something to stick our picks in. If you don't want to use the gaps and cracks, you can just get some pieces of styrofoam or the floral foam and glue those in there. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be facing this way today because these are going to be too tall to do the overhead view. So what we do to one, we'll do to the other. But let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start, and we're going to give some height, some greenery up here. Now I don't want it too tall. I want to be able to see our bow. So I'm going to cut this down, but this is what we're going to add in the front of these, okay? So let me get my supplies out here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut this big pine cone off. The little one can stay. And let me cut the stem shorter because I don't want it too tall. Now we may put a taller one in the back, but I want to leave the front shorter so that we can see, you know, some of the design we have here. Okay, so let me just kind of place it. And this foam doesn't go down very far because when I bought it, it has, I think right up to the slip, it was just like already filled in with like concrete or something heavy. So we can only go so far down on our, in our foam. So I think I want it just a tad shorter, just so we can still see a little bit of the stripes in our bow up here. Okay, I'm going to dip it in my glue pot. And we're just going to put it right down like that. Okay. So what we do to one, we're going to do to the other. So same thing here. I'm going to cut off a little pine cone, or my big pine cone. Set those to the side. I'm going to cut this down pretty short. And let's get our placement on this one. Okay, I like that. Now these are for my own home, so I'm just using the glue. If you were to try to sell these, if you did like a craft show, or if you even wanted to try and ship these, you can always, if you want a little bit more stability on these so that you can make sure they don't come out, you can just take a little zip tie and just zip tie that to this metal. But I'm not going to worry about zip tying it. I'm just going to Just gonna have it in there like that. Okay. Now let's do a piece on the back. And this one we will probably keep taller. Okay. Let's go ahead and cut this pine cone off. This will probably, I'm not going to promise, because I never know what kind of ideas I come up with. I planned some, but a lot of it's just kind of, I just kind of think of them. But this will probably be our last Christmas design, if I had to guess. We're going to start moving on to the other seasons. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep this one taller here in the back. Now this one I definitely, if I were shipping or selling this, and I might even do it, is add a little piece because it's taller. There's a lot more movement on the stem. This one was shorter, so it's in there pretty good, but I'm just going to take a little bit of this wire. Let me go ahead and cut two pieces because I'll need one for the other one. And I'm just going to wrap it around just to hold this up in the back. And I'll show you when I turn it around. And what did I do with my cutters? There we go. Okay, so I just tied it in right around this pole right here, just to kind of create a little bit of stability since this is so tall, so it doesn't kind of flop. Okay, so we've got that one done. Let's do this one. Same thing. Cut my pine cone off. Let's get my placement on this one. I'm going to take the tag off. Go ahead and put my glue in there. Okay. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas season so far. I am just about done with my gift shopping, almost. So I'm super excited about. Okay. So we got that one tied in too. So now we have it kind of on either side, filling in nicely. I like that. Okay. Now we're going to go in, I do have some more of these we'll probably use around the bottom, but before we do that, I'm going to go in with, I have these pretty white flocked pieces. So let's get my tag off here. So I think I'm going to cut this in half. Have one, we'll get two pieces out of this. I'm thinking we're going to put it to fill in on the sides here. Okay, I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more. So we're going to have, I think we're going to have one higher and one shorter. Okay, let's take this piece. Okay, I'm going to leave that one in there and I'm just going to hit it with my glue gun. So this one's a little taller, this one is a little shorter. And now we're just going to kind of intertwine these a little bit. Swap them out. Okay, and let's add one to, let's not add one to the back because I only brought two. I don't know what I was thinking there. That's okay. They're going to be front facing, so I'm not worried too much about the back. You're not going to see the back anyway. The back's going to be up against the brick on my home. Okay, so let's cut this one again. If you were wanting this to be a 360 arrangement, you definitely would probably want to stick, let me show you. If you were doing like a 360 arrangement, you know, you might want to stick a piece here in the back, but I didn't bring enough, and this is not going to be 360. It's going to be flat up against the wall and by my door. Okay, so let's leave this one taller. I want it a little bit shorter. Okay, that's pretty good. And let's let that glue dry before we mess with it. And let's get this one in over here. Okay. Start with this side and just kind of get my branches filled out a little bit. And they're not going to be, you know, exactly the same, but they're going to be similar. Okay, so we've got those pieces going on there. Before we add any more greenery, I want to add our bow. So we're going to do a bow kind of down here. So let's go ahead and just get this to the side for a second. And let's get our bow. So I'm going to be using this, one of my favorites from this year, this red and white Farrisilk. This is one of the ribbons that I used in my swag, so it'll help tie that in. And I also use this ribbon on our lantern swags. Okay, so I know my tails are going to be short. So I think probably about right there. And let's do a loop, so a small loop. Let's see if that's about the right size. I think so. I'm going to just turn it around this way because I think I'm going to do sort of like two bunny ears. So we're going to do another loop a little bit shorter, and I'm just going to, oh, a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'll do that again on the next one so you guys can see, but just kind of two little loops. Okay, and we're just going to tie it right there at the bottom. Let me get a pipe cleaner. And I'm just going to twist. Okay, I like that. So let's get, should have brought a pick, but I didn't. So let's use one of these floral pins. I'm just going to run right behind, and I can cut down these ties. So I'm just using a floral pin or a U-pin. And we're just going to pin that in there. Okay, let me add some glue to it. And I'm just going to fold up the bottom for our tails. Okay. We have our little bow right there. A little bunny ear bow. Let's do the same thing over on this one. Okay, so let me get my tails. Probably right there. They're about 7 inches. Just gonna pinch. Actually, let's put our tail in the back. I just pinched. I'm going to make a loop. I don't want too big of a loop. I'm going to pinch. And then I'm just going to bring it back up with another loop. So I'm just bringing it back up with another loop, pinching. Make sure that's about the right size. Then we're going to just flip this tail around. We get another pipe cleaner. And just right where my fingers were gripping that, just twisting it off. Okay. Cut these down. Now let me get another one of these U-pins. I'm just going to run it right through the back of that pipe cleaner. So I have a little hook. And, okay, let's add some glue. And now we have our little bow on there. Let me just roll up the ends. There we go. So that's all the ribbon we're going to use. Because it is front facing, I'm not going to worry about putting anything on the back. And we'll save this gorgeous ribbon for another project. Okay, let me go ahead and put my floral pins back. Okay. So I think I'm going to go in. I have 2 of these. They're just spare pieces that I pulled off from the previous design that I had on this. So I think we're just going to add it in. And maybe since I only have 2, so it'll be 1 for each, I'm thinking we'll go ahead and add it back here to the back. I think I want it a little closer. Let me see. And that just creates some fullness back there, so when you're looking at it from the front, I'm trying to see, or if I want it in the front. I only have 1 though, so we probably need to break it into pieces. And I just pulled that right off of there. Choices, choices, decisions, decisions. I think I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to go right in the center here. And just add a little bit kind of right there, fill that in. Now we can take this piece. I'm not going to worry about gluing that on. We'll just use this piece of greenery. And let's go right behind this white piece of pine. There we go. So let's do the same thing on this one. Let's cut it. And these are just falling off. These were from, I've had them in there a couple years, so. Okay, let me cut this down. Let's do the same thing. Let's kind of put this one sort of in the center behind our bow. Kind of fill that in right there. And we'll put this one again on right behind our white pine over here. Okay. So, same positioning. And just kind of move those around a little bit. I'll save these. We'll use them for something. Okay, now I have these peppermint picks. They also came in. I had used them in the design from before. I'm just going to glue this little piece of fabric back on here. So we're just going to reuse these. I have another peppermint. I have these two that I may use, but we'll see. Let's use these. I'm going to put these right here in the front. Okay, so they're going to go right there. It's tucked in right there. So let's do the same thing on this side, or on this one. Okay, I'm going to go right back behind. And we've got them in over there. Okay. Let me flip it back around so I can see what I want to do next. I have this spray. I had just one of these left in my stash, so I figured we could incorporate it. I'm not going to use the little balls, but we'll use the little peppermints. So let me pull the little peppermints off. I'm not going to use these. Let's take this peppermint. Again, this is front facing, so let's go on this side. Okay, let's do the same thing on this one. Move this. I think I need to cut it down just a hair. Put some more glue on it. There we go. Okay, so we've got, now we'll save this one because it only gave me 3 and I don't want to put an extra one on one. If I do, I'll just stick it in the back. I'll probably just stick it in the back when we're done just to use it so I don't have this one little peppermint hanging around. Okay. So now let's go in, let's fill in a little bit on the back with some of our greenery. Just so it doesn't, I know that we're not going to see it from the back, but we don't want to, we want to fill this in from, so that you don't have all this holes that you're looking at. So we're just going to cut this down. Hope that makes sense. It creates the fullness so that you don't just see straight through the back, right? So let me cut some of this down. Yeah, I may leave this one. Yeah. So I'm going to cut this. Maybe. There we go. My hands have gotten a workout this season cutting all these pines. So this is a little bit different of a pine. It's just got a little bit more flocking on it than the other one we used. But I want, it's one I had just, well, is it the same? Maybe that one's just flocked a little bit more. I think it's the same. It's just got a little bit more flocking on it. Okay, I'm going to put it right next to the other one, just a little bit shorter. Okay, so I just put it right in front of this other one. I just made it a little bit shorter than this one. So we're filling this in back here. And let's take this piece, and I'm just going to stick it right here, and we'll stick the other one on this side. And I'm not using a pick. You could use a pick if you wanted to, but I'm just sticking them in. I'm going to stick them straight up, and then we'll give it a bend in a minute. Once the glue dries, we'll bend it how we want it. Okay? So they're just sticking in there right now. We can bend them in a minute. I'm going to let that glue dry. Let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, I'm going to take the big pine cone off. Take these little leaves off. And then we'll leave this one. Make it shorter. See if that's short enough. And it is. And we're going to go right in front of that other one. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now this one, because I've used this foam before, the hole is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take a little bit of my wire and just wrap it around that other stem, just so it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just wrapping this wire, wrapping these two stems together, because my hole was kind of big from the project I had it before, and I didn't want it flopping out. So I'm just wrapping some floral wire around there. Okay, let's do the same thing. I'm going to take these pieces and go on either side. Just going to put them straight in for now, and we'll give them a bend in a minute after the glue dries. Okay, so they're just right in there. So now let's just kind of bend these a little bit. Trying to see if I need a wire. I'm going to get a little piece to do the same thing on this one. Just to kind of hold it to this one a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I just gave these just a little bit of a bend. Let's do this over here. Just a little bit of a bend. Okay. Now let's take one more pine and cut it up to go around kind of the bottom area I also have another filler that we'll put around the bottom just to help cover up that foam. But let's take one more pine spray. And we'll just cut it up. That'll give us 2 pieces per per design. I'm drawing a blank on what to call these things. Arrangements, I guess. All right, so let's take and do one more right here on the side. Fill in this hole. Again, I'm just going to go straight up for now. And let's do, I'm just kind of filling in some of the foam. Put one right there. Okay, let's do the same thing on this one. So I'm just going to put one on the side here, straight in. We'll give it a bend in a minute. Okay. Glue everywhere. Okay, give this a little bit of a bend. Let's get this one over here, a little bit of a bend. Bend these down just a hair. And same thing over here. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay. Now, let me get a drink real quick. We have our, these are the snowy mint bushes. We're going to put a couple, leave a couple longer to kind of fill in some holes, and then we're going to put a couple pieces down at the bottom. And then we also have our red glitter sprays. Let's go ahead and start with our greenery first. We'll save our glitter for the end. So I'm going to try to get away with using one bush on each. Well, we're going to have to use one bush on each because that's all I brought. If I don't have enough, I can always add more later. So I'm going to keep these long for now. Okay, so that one will be for that side. I'll do the same thing over here. I'm just cutting the stems at the bottom so that I can leave it long. And then we can cut them shorter as we need it. Okay. And then those will be for that one. So I want to take and keep a couple of the pieces longer and kind of fill in right here in the center. Trying to make sure I hear the crunch. Get some glue. Okay, so it's just filling right in here. Now let's do one over on this side. I think I'm going to cut this pine cone out because it's kind of in my way. Let's do one on this side, a little bit lower. Okay, so I just have 2 pieces there. I want to save some for the bottom. I think we need one right behind the bow. So I'm going to take, see if I want to leave this long or cut it short. Yeah, let's leave it long. Okay. get this one. This one seems a little sturdier. So I'm just going to push that right there in the center, right here in the center behind our bow. Okay, now let's go in with a piece in the back. Again, we're just filling in some holes. I'm going to cut this little piece off because it's flopping. There we go. Okay, so I'm just filling in right here. Let's go on the other side. Okay, I'm not going to pull that one back out. I'm just going to hit it with my glue gun. Get another stick. Now our filler doesn't have to be exactly the same. We'll keep the front pieces, but in the back. So these in the back, because I want some to go around the bottom to fill in some of our foam, I'm going to cut them in half so that they're shorter pieces. And I'm just going to go in sort of around the bottom. I'm going to cut this one. I'm just making little baby pieces so we can use them as filler right around the bottom to kind of help hide some of this foam. Okay, so I'm just using those little baby pieces, and I'm just going right here around the bottom, hiding some of this foam. So this piece, I know I need the stem a little shorter, so I'm trying to keep it right around the base. So I'm keeping it right around the base, filling in some of that foam. Going to go all the way around the bottom. So I probably could have used two of these per thing, but we'll make it work. We still have glitter sprays to add, and I have one more piece of pine. If we need to cut up some more pine to add around there, we can do that too. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. So right there, I see a hole right in here. So I'm just filling in the holes. That's all I'm doing. Let's get one right over here. Okay, I got one more piece. Let me see where I want to put it. I think right behind this bow. Okay, so that's what we have so far. I just went right around the bottom, fill in some of that in. Let's do the same thing over on here. So we're going to take some longer pieces. We're going to do 3. So I'm going to go kind of right behind our peppermint here. And get it down in that foam. There we go. I heard the crunch. Okay, this one is going to be more down on the side over here. I'm going to move this pine cone. There we go. Just want to make sure it's in the foam. It feels like it is. Okay, and then we'll go a little bit shorter and go right behind our bow here. Okay, so we've done basically the same thing. Higher, low, lowest. Okay, so sort of our little triangle right there. Now let's go and do the same thing on the back. We added sort of a piece over here to fill in this hole. So I added a piece right here, fill in that hole, okay? And then we're gonna add one over in this hole, a little shorter. So let me show you, we've got a hole right in here. Okay, so we're gonna fill this in right there. Okay, so now let's cut these into our little baby pieces. So we'll have 6 little baby pieces. No, we'll have 5 little baby pieces. This one gave me 5. So I'm just going to kind of place these around the bottom. Go right behind this bow. Right here. I'll just touch that glue. That one's hot. Okay, let's go on, right on this side behind our tails. Okay. So that's what we have so far. You can still see some of the foam. We have our glitter sprays to add, and I've got one more piece of pine. We also have those peppermint sprays if we want to add them. But if I was doing this to sell, this is for my own porch. If I was doing it to sell, I probably would add one more bush on both of these. So we would use 2 snowy mint bushes per arrangement. Fill in a little bit more of the holes down here in the foam. But for my porch, it will be fine. So let's take our little glitter sprays and we're going to cut them up into pieces. We'll start with 1 each, and if we need to add more, we will. So we'll put this one aside for over here. Ooh, this is making a mess. Look at all this glitter. Glitter and snow. From those flocked pines. Okay, let's cut these up. Okay. That will be for this side. So let's get this out of the way a little bit so you guys can see this one. Okay, let me look at it. So I know I'm going to need a taller piece. So let me find my tallest piece. Which looks like it's going to be this one. And it's not going to hit the foam because I need it tall. If I had, let's see. So you can always you can take and just glue it, right? So that's probably what I'm going to do. You could just glue it or use your floral wire to wrap it around the stem or the pole. Or you can just take one of your stems that you cut off and you can take some floral wire and just wrap it around. And just make a longer stem is all you're doing. Okay. And you can glue it. And now you have a longer stem to poke down into that foam. Now I don't obviously need it that long. So let me cut it a little bit. And that's still too long. There we go. So I want it just a little bit above my pine, but I still want to be able to see my little bow there. So that's how you can make your stem longer. You could just get some floral wire, take a spare stem, wrap it around, or you could have just glued it or wired it directly to your base. Okay, let's get another stem here. I'm going to take and pull the bottom leaves off so that I have a stem. And I'm going to go right in. I went right in the side here, and I'm going to find a spot on this side and do another one. Okay, so let me look over here. Okay, so I have one on either side. Now I think we need to break this center up here with a piece. So we'll probably end up using two. So I'm going to go right in. And I didn't worry about that hitting the foam. I just have it glued. I have it glued right to that pine. Okay, so I just tucked in a piece right here. I think we need a piece of pine. We have, let me show you. So we're very heavy. I don't know if you guys can see that. We're very heavy on the white right here. And I think I need a piece of the green pine to kind of break up this white right here. So I'm going to take a piece of our other pine stem, the one that we have kind of set aside. I'm going to break that up a little bit. So I'm going to get the longer piece. Cut the little pine cone off so it doesn't get in our way. And I'm going to come in here. Let's add a piece down towards the bottom. We can actually stick it in that foam. And then maybe, there we go. And then just kind of give it a bend. There. So now we've kind of broken up that white just a little bit. We're still going to add some sprays, some glitter sprays in there, so that'll help as well. We just kind of broke that up a little bit. So let's see on this side, let's do the same thing. So I'm going to take one of these off and leave one long. So I'm going to leave my long piece. And play musical arrangements here. I'm going to cut this down. Okay, and we're just going to put it right in the center here and break up some of that white. Then we'll take our other piece. Now this one wasn't as bad as that other one. But we'll still stick this one right down here in the foam. Okay, so we've broken up that a little bit. We have a little bit of, we'll want to break up right here with some of our red glitter sprays. But we're done with our pine. That's all I brought. So let's go back. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked a little bit, but I saw that white and I wanted to fill that in. So let's go back to this one. Let's finish putting our sprays in. Just picking off the leaves so that I can have a stem. Let's go right down here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and use what I cut up for that one. I'm going to use over here because we know we're going to go two. I brought enough. So now let's do one right in here. Again, I'm not worried about we have enough pine in here now that it can glue. I'm just putting the glue and it's gonna glue to those other pines. So I'm not worried so much about it hitting the foam. So we just added that little piece there. Look, I think we need a piece back over here. We kind of got a hole right here. Let me find another tall piece. I think this one will be good. Let me look. Yes, right there. Okay, let me see. Okay, now I'm going to put a piece down at the bottom by our bow. And I just undid my bow somehow, so let me get it out and fix it. I guess I didn't have it tied in there very good with my pipe cleaner. So this happens sometimes. No worries, we'll fix it. So when I've tied my pipe cleaner, I didn't tie that good around that center, and my little loop just came undone. So let's do it again. So I have my loop down here. Now I want to make sure that I'm tying this right around both of those loops good. Okay. Take 2 on the bow. See, I almost just messed it up again. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna make sure. Yep, I got both of them in there this time. Okay. Take 2. I'll run my thing back through there. Add some more glue. Stick our bow right back in there. All right. I think I need to cut this tail a little shorter on this one. It's kind of hanging a little bit further than the other one. There we go. Okay, so we fixed our bow back. Got a little piece of glitter hanging out there underneath our bow. Let's do one on this side. Let me find a small piece. I'm going to go right underneath. I'm just finding this foam and filling in some of those places we can still see the foam. Okay. looking pretty good from the front. Let's add some pieces to the back here. I just added a piece kind of coming out right here. So you'll still, when you're looking from the front, you still kind of see right around here. I'm going to add a piece in the back. I think I'm going to pull my leaves off so I have a stem. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to go straight up in the back. Like I said, this is going to be flat up against my house. So I don't need anything in the backs. I don't want anything in the back really sticking way far out because it's going to be flat up against my house. So I just went straight up with that one. Okay, we have one. This already kind of has like a little natural bend on it. So let's do it on the side over here. Okay, just have it on the side over there. I have one more piece. And I think we're going to put it, let me see. I almost think we need to break up this right in here. So I'm going to stick it right in the foam. We got a little bit of a hole right here where you can see the foam. I know you guys can't really see on the camera, but there was a hole right there where I could see the foam. Okay, so I've just gone in and kind of filled around. It looks pretty good. Like I said, it's for my home. I could still see a few tiny spots of foam in the back. The front looks really good. I don't see anything. So again, if I was making this to sell, I would just get another snowy mint bush, and you might not even need the whole thing. But just kind of fill a little bit more around here in the back. I don't know if you guys can see on the camera, but there's a couple of spots I can see the foam. I would fill that in if I was selling it. But for me, it's going to be flat up against my house, so I'm not worried about it. So set that aside, and let's finish this one. So we're going to kind of, you know, similar. It's not going to be exact, but we're going to fill in holes. Let me get this out of my way. And I found a piece. So we have one more piece. Let's see. Maybe we can fill in one of those holes in the back with another piece. Okay, so I just added another little piece back there. Okay. So I know we're going to use 2 of these, so let's go ahead and cut these up. And this will be the end of our design. And I'll take a picture on my porch so you guys can see it, and make sure if you want to see how I made the corresponding swag that goes with this. That video will be posted this weekend in the main channel page. So y'all make sure you check that one out. Made a really large swag for my front door, and we used the same color combos. I used the same ribbon. I did bring in one additional ribbon on that design that I didn't use in here. But I think it's going to turn out really pretty together. Okay, so let's start with, let me get one of our taller pieces. Get my short pieces separated from my taller pieces. The short pieces we'll use towards the bottom. Okay, so I've got my taller pieces, my shorter pieces. So let's get one of my taller pieces. Now we did on that other one, you know, we made our own pick so that it could come up. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick some glue on here. Again, I will probably end up changing this design out at some point in the near future. So I just have that glued right there. It's glued to the back of that other pine. So I'm not worried about adding another pick on it. Okay, we're going to come out to the side. Fill in right there. And now we're going to go on this side, fill in over here. Okay, and let's go in the center here and kind of break up. Let me find a smaller piece. Take it right here. Okay, and I think I want one more to kind of match that other one more in the center here. Okay, so we got our front. Now I'm just going to start going around the sides. We're going to break up some of this white in here with okay, let's go straight up in the back again with one piece. Okay. And add a few around the bottom. Let's use this one. Okay, I'm going to get one that has kind of like a droopy little here, right kind of in front by our bow. Like I said, they won't be exactly the same, but they're similar. Just filling in some of the holes. Okay. I have one more piece. Let me see where I want it. We have a piece that's kind of coming out over here on the other one, but we kind of have a little bit of a hole on this side. So I'm going to stick it over here. Okay. And let me step back and see. We have the pine cones. If you wanted to add in some of the pine cones as filler around the bottom, you could try to cover up some of the, so that's another option to cover up some of the spots where you still see a little bit of foam. You could put some of your pine cones. Again, I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to be against my, flat up against my house. So let's get these together so you guys can see them. So here's our cute little designs that'll be by my front door. I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, bye guys.